Well, hey there everybody, this is Joe Robinson. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to talk about my favorite acoustic guitar amplifier on the planet, the Udo Rosner Capo 75. Before we dive in, if you would take just a moment to hit that like button, I would really appreciate it. It helps the YouTube algorithm and it's totally free to do so. If you're like me, chasing that big, full, rich, powerful acoustic guitar sound in a live venue situation, there's no better feeling than when you feel the room reacting to the way you play. It's almost like the room becomes an extension of your instrument. It's like you're playing a 30-foot guitar that's 5 foot deep. And it's like you have this huge room at your command because of the sound of the amplified guitar reverberating in every corner of the building. I love that feeling. My life was really changed when I first heard Tommy Emmanuel play live in concert. Hearing the way he's playing, which I knew was great, but hearing the way it translated through the PA was a really powerful experience, and feeling like, the whole theater full of people was experiencing this. It was like they had their ear right in front of his guitar. He was using a Maiden guitar and an AER amp. Udo Rosner is the man who designed the amplifier Tommy was using that night, and this is his new design, the Udo Rosner Capo 75. It is an incredible sounding amp. I've been using AER amplifiers for the past 15 years or so, and I've played a lot of shows with them. I know the amplifiers very well, and when I first plugged into this amp, I couldn't contain my excitement because my favorite amps had been improved upon. So this is now the gold standard in my mind of acoustic guitar amplifiers. And I will say that if you're an acoustic guitar player playing gigs, it's so worth it to bring your own amp. When you have your own amp, you have control of the sound. If you feel it needs a little bit less top end or a little bit less bottom end, you can dial that in, and you can dial in, a little less reverb if it's getting too ambient. And, I think sound engineers appreciate it when you give them the sound that you like and that you hear. Like, they expect that from you. They expect to get your tone and your sound, and they translate it through the PA. Not only that, but you get a consistent sound night after night, because if you just show up and plug into any old DI, you're asking for trouble because the monitors are going to sound different every night. In my experience, it's so much better to have a consistent sound every night, a sound that you can rely on, that so that you can just play and not have to rely on, the stage monitors for your guitar sound. Although you can use a little bit of the stage monitors, I like to do that. But most of my stage sound is the amp, and that allows me to just focus on performing and playing the song and connecting with the people, which is what it's all about. I remember when I played on Australia's Got Talent back in the day, I just turned up with my guitar and I trusted the sound people. I figured they know what they're doing. This is a big dollar production. And Tommy Emmanuel said to me at a later date, he said, Joe, I listened to you play on that TV show and you did a great job. He said, but next time you play on TV, try bringing your AER amp along and using that as a preamp. Because, if you just plug into whatever DI they have, you're not going to get as good a sound as you will as if you run through the amplifier. And this Capo 75 has such a sweet sounding preamp, which is a big part of the reason I love it so much. So now we're going to take a listen to the amp. I'm going to be using my JR Signature Maiden guitar, and I'm going to tell you all about the settings and everything I use after I play a little bit. I will say there's something magical that happens when you play this amplifier and this guitar in a room. There's just something about the way the room sucks up the sound. And one more thing before we listen, I just will say that this Maiden guitar that I'm playing is a big part of the sound also. And it's a great combo, this guitar with the Capo 75. Check it out and take a listen. Let me know what you think. Okay, so the settings on my guitar are as follows. I have the pickup on 100%, the mic on 100%, the volume on 100%, the treble on just under 100%, the bass on 100%, the mid kind of just before the notch, which is at 12 o'clock, so it's about 11 o'clock, and the frequency band for the mid-range is just set at the notch, so right in the middle. That's how the guitar's set. Okay, well, I'm getting a bit creative with my camera angles now. So I have the amp set up so that I'm in channel 2 and I'm in the line setting. Gain is on 1/4, high pass filter is not engaged, bass is on just under 12 o'clock, middle is on 12 o'clock, treble is on about 11 o'clock, pan, center, I'm on effect setting 1, and the effects level is at 1/4 and the master volume is at 1/4. And I'm just using channel 2 because that's the channel I used to always use on my AER. I think channel 2 and channel 1 sound the same. I'm really not the right person to tell you all the features of this amp. I've never read a manual for any single thing in my life. I just love the way it sounds and the way it makes my guitar come to life in a room. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I want to say a huge heartfelt thanks to Udo Rosner for making this amp and providing these tools for us guitar players to use. You know, I first met Udo when I was 17 at the Music Messe trade show in Germany, and he was so kind to me. He's a really great fellow, very passionate, you know, just a big-hearted person with a real zest for life, and I appreciate him a lot, so thank you for making these amps, Udo. So what do you think of the sound? Let me know in the comments, I'd love to know. And I'm filming this during the COVID-19 pandemic, and I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to playing in a concert hall again, or a theater, or a club, or wherever I'm booked. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel here, and ring that bell if you'd like to be notified when I post new videos. Cheers.